Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day today. We're going to learn some new things in Unit 3 called Systems of Equations. And what we're going to be searching for is one spot in the graph that satisfies both equations or is the point where they intersect. Before we get started, guys, you want to make sure you have your supplies with you. You want to have your math composition notebook, 2 different colors of highlighters, and a pen or a pencil. If everybody has their supplies, you can keep going, but if not, make sure you press pause until everyone has their supplies and then begin. We're going to begin with page 46 in your composition notebook. It should say 3.7 Systems of Equations. At the top, one part that I want you guys to highlight in the vocabulary section, it says the point of intersection for the 2 graphed equations is the solution for the system of equations. And what we're focusing on is what is the ordered pair for that one specific spot, and it's going to be labeled as making the equations true. As we move down the page, this first example says Ace and Annie graphed their linear equations on the same grid as shown below. Use their graphs to answer questions A through D. So we have our questions right here. Our graph, the line that's going upward is Ace. The line that's going downward is Annie. One area where kids often get messed up on their answers is getting the 2 equations confused. So I'm going to ask you guys to get 2 separate highlighters. One highlighter, you need to go over the line for Ace and highlight his name. I'm also going to highlight it over in question A. Then choose another color highlighter and let's go over the line for Annie, highlight her name, and then I'm also going to highlight her in the answer space for question A. This is going to help me stay focused and not confuse the areas that I'm working with when I write my answer. Alright, so question A says write the equation to represent each person's line. So I've traced over Ace with a blue highlighter for me, got his name in blue. This line is going upward, so I know that he's going to have a positive slope. So I'm going to label that. Ace, when I get done, needs to make sure that the slope is positive. Ace starts at a 2 for the y-intercept. So I'm going to label that and scoot over. Y. I'm just going to say y-int. Okay. Then remember to get our slope. We're going to find another spot where it crisscrosses in a perfect corner. I can go to that very next box. Connect it with our right triangle. If you go from 2 to 3, you just went up 1 unit. Then sideways, I went from 0 to 1, which is also 1 unit. Now I'm going to put those amounts together. The y-intercept was 2, and my slope is 1 over 1. So now when I come over to Ace, when I write the equation that we've been practicing, y equals 1x, you can put the 1 or not, it's your choice, plus 2. Then if I focus on Annie for a minute, look at her line, this one starts to go downward as you move across the graph. It also starts at 8. So I'm going to label that it's going to be a negative slope for Annie. So I have to have a negative sign for my slope. And I'm going to also say that it touches the y-intercept at 8. So I'm going to label that. Then as I move down the line to find another point to put for the points, it looks like I can also go just 1 space down and then put a point. I'm going to connect those 2 points for my right triangle, and I moved from 8 down to 7. So that's going down 1, and then I'm still going across a space of a unit from 0 to 1, which is 1. Now when I get ready to write Annie's equation, I come over, still starts out the same way, y equals, but instead of positive 1, I have negative 1. You can choose to write negative 1 or just put negative x. And this one began or touched the y-axis at 8. So now I have the two equations to represent the graph. Now question B is the new part that we haven't done yet. It says list the ordered pair where the lines intersect. So I want to highlight just what I'm focusing on. I need the ordered pair where the lines are intersecting. If you come over, there's one space right here in the middle where it's intersecting. I'm going to draw a line down to get my x value for the coordinate, and then draw my line sideways to get my y value for the coordinate. I'm going to put those together and it should be 3, 5. I'm going to move over and then write that down for answer choice B. Parentheses 3, 5. For right now, I'm going to skip C and D. All right, as we move down the paper to the next example, question 1, it says, list the two linear equations graphed at the right. So I have line A and then I have line B. These are very close together. We're going to put the equations here and then we're going to answer a couple problems. Again, to start out, I'm going to highlight the lines in two different colors. Line A is going to be this line. So I'm going to highlight my answer for A there. And then line B, also a positive, but just not quite as steep. I'm going to highlight B there. I'm going to find the two places where they intersect. The place where they intersect. If I zoom in, so we can get a better look at it, is right here. If you go straight down to get your x coordinate, it's 6. If you go straight across to get your y coordinate, it's 4. So in question B, when it says what is the solution to the system of equation, that's what it's meaning. That one point where they overlap and intersect. I feel like you guys are doing really good at writing equations, so I'm going to skip those two for now and come down here to the bottom. It says record if each ordered pair below is a solution to equation A, so the blue line for me, equation B, the orange line, both, it's on both lines, or it's a point that's on none of the two lines. So the first one is 3, 2. If I go put a dot where 3, 2 is at, it's right here. That looks like it's on line A. Then 4, 6, that is way up here. So I would put neither on that point. 3, 3, graph that right here. That's on line B. And then 6, 4, we've already said was the solution to both lines. If I put another dot there, I'm going to write the word both. All right, on the next page of notes, I'm going to skip these top two examples, and we're going to go down to the real life situation so we answer the questions about those. Number 4 says the total cost of 2 t-shirt companies based on the number of shirts ordered is shown below. We have company A. I'm going to use a highlighter. Remember, that's the thing sometimes kids get messed up on, is they get the wrong line. They do all the work and say it's the wrong company. Then company B, I'm going to highlight that line. So they both are positive. One is more steep than the other. The thing we're going to focus on, I'm not going to write the equation for both lines because you guys have been practicing that a lot. But question B and C. B says how many shirts would need to be ordered for the cost to be the same at either company, then what would that cost be? So the thing we need to focus on is we want how many shirts cost the same, and then what is that cost? Which basically means where is the intersection? Where do they overlap each other? If I zoom in on this, the overlapping point is right here. So again, we're going to go down to get the x coordinate, which matches with shirts. So 3 shirts. Then I go sideways to get the y coordinate, 9, which goes with the cost. You just put the label with the number. Now if I go down to where my question was, I've already said out loud the answer. I would need to get 3 shirts for them to cost the same. and it would cost $9. Question C, it says, if Justin is to order 5 shirts, if Justin is to order 5 shirts, which company would be cheaper? 5 shirts. So I'm going to find on my graph, I'm going to go up the 5 line until I get to the first spot because it said find the cheapest one, right? So the cheapest one, that point, since I highlighted it, I can easily tell that's company B. Which company does he need? Company B. Easy peasy, right, guys? Okay, question 5. Almost done. The balance of 2 sibling savings accounts is based on the number of weeks that are shown below. So we have Tate. This line is going up very fast. So get one highlighter. I'm going to highlight Tate's name and highlight the line that goes with that person. And then the second one is Tabitha. I'm going to highlight her line. There we go. So question A, it says, describe the amount each sibling started with and the rate at which his or her account is changing. Okay, the things that I want you to know in this question, the starting amount, that is going to be wherever it touched on the y-axis. Okay, so we're going to label that. The starting amount is basically your y-intercept. And then the second thing that it's wanting you to do is the rate that it's changing, the rate of change. And we said previously when we're studying this unit that the rate of change was the same as slope. So I'm going to put that down. The rate it's changing equals slope. Okay, I'm not actually going to do it, but I just want you to know what those words mean. Then letter B, it says, after how many weeks will the siblings have the same amount, and what will that amount be? So again, this is the new thing we're focusing on. When they have the same amount, how many weeks is it, and then what is that amount? So if I come up here to my graph and I zoom in, I'm looking for that intersection point, which is right here. Then I go down the line to my x-axis, go with the label. It takes 2 weeks. Go sideways to get to my y-axis. That tells me the balance or the amount of dollars in the account. After 2 weeks, they have the same amount of money, and it's $25. 2 weeks, and they will have $25. Then last question, it says, which sibling will have the highest balance after 5 weeks? Which sibling will have the highest balance after 5 weeks? Not how much, but just which sibling. Okay, so go back to my graph. I am going to go on the number 5 because it said go to 5 weeks. I'm going to go straight up the 5 line, not stopping, straight up the 5 line, not stopping here because it doesn't say who has the lowest amount. Keep going up the 5 line because it says who has the highest amount of money at 5 weeks. And at 5 weeks, Tate is higher than Tabitha. So I don't need to know how much money it is. I just need to know which sibling. So I write down that word. Tate. All right. So that's what we're doing today, guys. I feel like you're going to be mega awesome at it. Your homework should be loaded in Canvas. It's called Systems of Equations 3.7. If you want to do digital homework, please download that into your Metamoji Note app. If you feel like you need a paper copy, I did leave a few for you, or we can make more if we run out. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you soon.